Peyton had right calf that cramped up on him, but other than that, he came back in and did a nice job there. Thank you to the fans. There was a lot of red in the stands, and we sure appreciate the support. Heck of a game. It ended up as a heck of a game there. But there were some good things. There were some good things we could take out of this. Pat had a big day, 24-33 for over 240 yards. So, and then the big scramble at the end. I mean, that was a beautiful thing. Noah had a big day with 66 yards on 4 catches, a couple TDs in there. Third downs were great. Matt Nagy does a great job with those. So we were 7 for 12 there. And then defensively, Nazi again came up as a leading tackler on the defensive side and did a good job throughout. Dana with the 4 tackles, and then he had the big strip sack there. And then most of all, listen, Spencer closing it out. That's a whole lot of pressure for a new guy, and he's in here replacing for us right now a future Hall of Famer. So I mean that's not easy to do in these games, and he did a great job. Too many penalties as we worked this thing. We had 9 penalties for 90 yards. Too much, and we've got to make sure we take care of business on third downs. Again, both sides, we're working that, and but you know we've got to make sure we get off the field and then offensively stay on the field. So other than that, time's yours.
Andy, Pat's not the fastest guy and most elusive guy. He's got that knack to make those kinds of plays like they run at the end. How do you explain that? Like, what is it about him that allows him to do those kinds of things?
Yeah, I tell you, he has a great feel for the game. He knows by coverage where guys are and what they're trying to accomplish with the coverage, and then he can feel the front. So does a nice job there. Yeah, you're.
First quarters this year, kind of ugly for you guys.
We're there number 14 too to help him out. Nothing like that. Having a veteran player that kind of sees it the same way you do, and then he's very talented. And the organization made a nice move by taking him. Yep.
Andy, you talked about Schrader and the pressure of that situation for a rookie. What kind of confidence did you have sending him out there for that kick?
Yeah, no, we had confidence. I'd like, as close as you can get. I like because percentages for any kicker go up, but but we have confidence. He's got a big leg.
And are you content with the pressure that you guys are able to generate right now?
Yeah, I mean, those are things we can keep working on, and we'll get better with that as we go here. So, we've always been good at that. We've just got to keep grinding it out here.
Andy, what is it like? It happens again and again. What is it like having Pat under center with the game on the line? This is his 21st comeback, or not comeback, but a winning drive. Yeah,
that's a good thing from a head coach's standpoint. He does a nice job with all that.
Coming into today, how much of a defensive emphasis was put on stacking the box and trying to slow down and limit Chuba Hubbard?
Yeah, well, he's another good player, and they were able to get their young guy in there too. So we were very aware of him and his ability, but at the same time, you got to deal with the quarterback too, and the wide receivers. Thielen came back, and he's just getting better and better as he goes here. So.
Noah scores twice, but on his second one when they blitz you, just wonder if you can kind of take us through what you see on that play.
Yeah, Pat made a great throw. He made a nice move at the top of it, big body. Pat put it up where only he could get it, and I thought Noah again used his body well to protect the ball.
Okay, thanks, Coach.
All right, thank you.
Travis Kelce can add another accomplishment to his resume during the Kansas City Chiefs game against the Carolina Panthers in Charlotte, North Carolina. On Sunday, November 24th, the 35-year-old tight end caught a pass from quarterback Patrick Mahomes, resulting in a 19-yard reception. Kelce surpassed Los Angeles Chargers legend Antonio Gates to become the tight end with the third most receiving yards in NFL history. Gates' record is 11,841 receiving yards, and Kelce now has 11,854 yards. The only two NFL tight ends who hold more receiving yards than Kelce are Dallas Cowboys tight end Jason Witten with 13,046 yards and former Chiefs player Tony Gonzalez with 15,127 yards. Kelce holds a number of other NFL records, including the tight end, to get the most receiving yards in a single season when he had 1,416 yards in 2020. He also made it to 10,000 receiving yards faster than any player ever. The game show host also holds the record for the most overall seasons with 1,000 receiving yards by a tight end, and he has taken home that title every season for the past 7 years, although Kelce still has a few thousand receiving yards to go in order to surpass Gonzalez's record. Kelce beat the former Falcons player out for another title. The longest pass-catching streak in Chiefs history, catching passes in 158 consecutive games. Despite his most recent accomplishment, the athlete admitted that he didn't feel like he played to the best of his ability when Kansas City lost to the Buffalo Bills on Sunday, November 17. The NFL star expressed his frustration while recapping their 21-30 loss during the November 20 episode of his podcast New Heights with Jason and Travis Kelce. The tight end told his brother, Jason Kelce, that he gets fired up each time the Chiefs take on the best teams in the NFL like the Bills, who currently top the AFC East with a 9-2 record. While he was fired up for this one, Travis said, referring to the match against the Bills, he admitted, "I didn't play my best. And it pisses me off, and it made me, go right back into work on Monday after the game and get after it and find a way to make us right." He continued, "I think this is something that you won't see out of us in the future. A lot of this is very fixable and I've got all the faith in the world in this team," he added. The Chiefs moved up to 10-1, bouncing back from last week's defeat to the Buffalo Bills that ended hopes of a perfect season, and as Kansas City continue their march towards a historic three-peat, their main goal this season, Travis Kelce hit a personal milestone. He made an early catch to take his total career receiving yards to 11,854, the third highest number of any tight end in NFL history. Kelce has now overtaken the legendary Antonio Gates and only Tony Gonzalez, 15,127, and Jason Witten, 13,046, have more yards than him. While he moved up in that legendary list, Kelce was denied a chance to make franchise history on Sunday. The 35-year-old is currently tied with Gonzalez for most receiving touchdowns in Chiefs history, and one more score will see him set a new record with 77. He perhaps would have fancied his chances of getting into the end zone against the Panthers, but it wasn't to be. Instead, it was teammate and fellow tight end Noah Gray who scored 2 TDs instead. He also had 2 touchdown catches in last week's game against the Bills, and with another impressive display, he became the first tight end with multiple receiving touchdowns in consecutive games since George Kittle of the San Francisco 49ers in 2022. With Mahomes sharing the ball around, Kelce will need to wait another week to make history in Kansas City. So far, he has not found the end zone as frequently as he would have liked this season, and only has 2 TDs through 12 weeks of the season. This time last year, he had already scored 5 en route to the Super Bowl, and with a historic three-peat on the cards, individual achievements may have to take a back seat. While Patrick Mahomes is known for his arm, the 2-time NFL MVP's legs were what ultimately sealed the Carolina Panthers' fate Sunday at Bank of America Stadium. Mahomes, with less than a minute remaining in a tie game in Uptown Charlotte, scampered down the field for a 32-yard gain that ultimately set up a winning 31-yard field goal from fill-in Kansas City Chiefs kicker Spencer Schrader. So, the Kansas City wagon, 10-1, kept on churning with a 30-27 win on the road against a Panthers team that is starting to show signs of serious potential, despite its 3-8 record. While Panthers' second-year QB Bryce Young got off to an excellent start, Carolina failed to punch in touchdowns during its first 3 scoring drives. Trading field goals for touchdowns with the Chiefs put the Panthers behind early, and while Carolina's playmakers tried to make up ground, including tying the game on the offense's final series, it just wasn't enough to upset the defending 2-time Super Bowl champions. Chiefs head coach Andy Reid leaned on his superstar QB in the passing game before running down the throats of the Panthers' defenders. That turned out to be a sound strategy, as the Chiefs' defense's bend-but-don't-break outlook kept the lead intact. Kansas City was favored by a mile, but it was actually nice to see the offense, especially Young, battle against a juggernaut. While it wasn't enough to get the win, Young and the offense showed enough upside to feel good about next week's clash with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in a similar setting. Here is how the Panthers graded out in the loss to the Chiefs. Bryce Young, Panthers pass offense versus Chiefs. The Panthers came into Sunday's matchup averaging 170.7 passing yards per contest, which was the second worst output in the league entering Week 12. The Chiefs, conversely, were allowing 212.2 passing yards per game, which was slated as the 16th spot in the NFL. Young started the game by going to the air early and often. He tossed an 8-yard pass to Adam Thielen, a 15-yard strike to David Moore, and a perfectly placed 34-yard floater to Xavier Legette within the first 4 plays of the game. Young completed his first 4 passes of the game on the way to the red zone, but couldn't overcome a false start penalty by center Cade Mays within the 10-yard line. Young continued to work the passing game on the second series, as he hit a wide-open Thielen for a 36-yard catch-and-run play. He also connected with wideout Devin Tompkins for a 12-yard gain to get the Panthers in the red zone. While he failed to connect with anyone in the end zone, Young did lead a second consecutive field goal scoring drive to begin the game. Young completed 6 of his first 10 passes for 107 yards and produced 2 scoring drives. With 14:42 left in the first half, he'd already eclipsed everything he did in Week 2 against the Los Angeles Chargers, a performance that led to his polarizing benching in Week 3. Young couldn't keep the momentum going on the third series, as he was sacked on second down by Chiefs defensive end Mike Dana. While he made a quick pass to rookie tight end Jatavian Sanders, the Panthers had a quick 3-and-out while down 7 points in the middle of the second quarter. Young and the offense got the ball back with 44 seconds left in the first half. Sanders, the rookie tight end, made a phenomenal catch toward the sideline for a 28-yard gain to get the ball in Chiefs territory. Sanders later gained 11 yards on a completion to get Carolina to the 11-yard line, but the playmaker was injured on the play with 20 seconds to spare. Unfortunately for the Panthers, they couldn't reach pay dirt. Young finished the first half with 177 passing yards on a 55.6% completion percentage. Young had an 89.4 passer rating and was sacked just once. Young had at least 2 passes legitimately dropped in the first 2 quarters. He led 3 first-half scoring drives. Young began the second half with a cluster of big passing plays to Legette and Moore. He completed 4 passes to Moore and Legette for 44 total yards to get the Panthers in scoring position to begin the third quarter. He finished the drive with a 1-yard toss to Moore in the end zone for a touchdown. Young continued to chip away into the fourth quarter. While he failed to relive the touchdown success, he did lead his 5th scoring drive of the game, as a field goal cut the Chiefs' fourth quarter lead to 8 points. While the defense came up big, finally, in the fourth quarter, Young and the offense failed to reward that good look with points. A 3-and-out was capped by a scramble drill for an incompletion. Young got one more chance to tie the game with less than 3:30 left. While Carolina started off near midfield, a deep strike down the left sideline was dropped by Legette. Young went back to Legette for a 6-yard gain. Carolina averaged 110 rushing yards in its first 10 games, which was good for 24th in the league. However, the Chiefs were only allowing 85.3 rushing yards per contest, which ranked 3rd in the NFL entering Week 12. With Kansas City doing so well against the run this season, the Panthers moved away from the ground game early. In fact, the Panthers' running backs were limited to just 3 carries for 7 yards in the first half. Rookie running back Jonathan Brooks, appearing in his first NFL game, made his initial appearance on a 3-and-out drive in the middle of the second and took one handoff for a 3-yard gain. After a forgettable first half, the Panthers' running game got going in the third quarter. Hubbard ran the ball